Hey guys, welcome to workshop number 4 in the invisible hand. What we're talking about today is equilibrium. Your objective remains the same as we've been working on this the whole project, is that we must allocate a scarce resource, gasoline, by using a process, and we must take into consideration the consumers. So it's not just let's give all the businesses this, but we also need to think, what people need this, and that's an important distinction to make. Standard today is going to kind of focus on E2.2.3, illustrate how supply and demand determine equilibrium, price, and quantity. All right, so by the end of this workshop, you guys will be able to describe the law of demand and the law of supply and the relationship that supply and demand have with both price and quantity. Pay close attention to the equilibrium part and what it means to have that equilibrium. Supply and demand. Quick review here. Supply, simply stated, is the amount of product that a company or person is willing and able to sell. The law of supply states that as the price of a product increases, the quantity supplied also increases. That positive relationship. One goes up, one goes up. Supply curve looks pretty basic like that. It's going to point up and to the right. All right, notice the labels on the axis. Notice the origin. Right, always up and to the right, always away from zero. Think of it as a producer. You're selling something, and that's what it comes down to. All right, so if we were to practice this again, we would just take our points on the graph, 104, right, and we start to plot those points. All right, connect the dots, label it, and we're out of here. And for our review of demand, demand simply stated is the amount of product that the consumer is willing and able to buy. We talked about that willing and able part, right? We can want all we want, and it doesn't count towards demand unless we could actually go out and do it. And that's the most important concept there with demand. It's not what we want, but it's what we can afford, what we can do. The law of demand states that as the price of a product increases, the quantity demanded decreases. It's an inverse relationship. One goes up, the other one goes down, unlike the law of supply. Simple demand curve here again. Notice the labels, notice the origin, notice that demand curves are always down to the right. All right, practice the plotting. We still have that there, and we're going backwards this time. There we are. Plot it like math class. Drop that line on there, and we are all set. All right, label it. We're done. So equilibrium is when supply equals demand. Depending on supply and demand, equilibrium can move. So it depends on what people want, what people need, and how this all works out. And that's the most important part here is how does this actually happen? So what steps need to be taken in order for us to basically go through and do this? So equilibrium would be blending of the two. We have our supply, we have our demand. Our equilibrium is right where they intersect. It's that simple. So you guys would see that. It's labeled, it's nice, it's neat, it's clean. We can easily identify the equilibrium point. So if we were to practice this, we have our demand and our supply from previously, right? And we start by plotting these points out, just like in math class. Connect the lines, label it supply of pizzas, connect, just like in math class, label it demand of pizzas, and there's our equilibrium right there in the middle. So simple, so easy to see. Now you might notice, and these numbers are good for that, but we might notice that these at 200 is the same. And it's really easy for us to identify this as a place where we can go and see that really quickly. A lot of times our numbers won't be that neat. These numbers are very neat. But a lot of times our numbers may not be that neat, and we'll have to make an estimate, or we'll have to do a function of equations like algebra class to figure it out. Again, thank you guys for watching this one. Again, tomorrow you guys will need this information, so please make sure that you guys have good notes on this because I will not be here to help you out. Have a wonderful day.